Hello knitters, Fei Lin from Strands Knitting Studio in San Clemente, California, and today I have classes and I have a cable tutorial, so stay tuned. Okay, so our next upcoming class is Tuesday the 31st, that's next Tuesday, from 4 to 6, and that is on Zoom, and it's the Ravelry class. Now, what I'm wearing is a good reason to be on Ravelry. So I was going to tell you what this was. I made this long ago and I love it. And you know, it's like one of those things, but it's not in my Ravelry. I don't understand why it's not in my Ravelry. That's like highly unusual, but I don't know what it is. So I will look later and see if I can figure out what it is. If somebody knows what it is, let me know. But it's, you know, I thought it was a Stephen West, but it doesn't look like, I can't find it under his thing. So anyways, that's why you need Ravelry. Because you need to be able to figure out what you made when, like, oh yeah, maybe I want to make another one of those, but I don't know what it is. And there's so many shawls that it's going to be hard to find it. And especially since it's an older one. It's probably, I don't know, I've been here 10 years, so it's probably a 15, 16 year ago that I knitted this. So it's not going to be easy to find. So anyways, this is what I'm wearing. I have no idea what it is, but I do love it. And it's just a combination of garter stitch, stockinette stitch, and then it has a nice little lace border on it. And I'm pretty sure this is fingering weight yarn. And so you've got a multicolor and then a solid. But anyways, I can't tell you what it is because it's not in my Ravelry. So come learn about Ravelry. So Tuesday is the Ravelry class and we're gonna be on Zoom. So I'll be at my house, you'll be at your house. You'll get on Zoom. You can have an account or you can just watch me do what I'm doing and see if you're interested. That's all good. If you do have an account, I suggest you either have a split screen on a regular computer or two devices, your computer or whatever, and a phone, one that you can watch me on and one that you can sort of play around on your own and follow me with. So that is Tuesday from 4 to 6. And if you sign up, make sure you leave an email. I have a few people signed up, but I think I have their emails. If you don't think I have your email, at least give me the your full name so that I can look up your email, because that's how you're going to get my link to get onto Zoom. And of course, you could always email me at Phelan Knits also. I need the link to Zoom, and I'll probably have that up looking for people who need to get in. So that's Tuesday. And then the next class is going to be February 8th, and that's our tips and tricks class. So that's, again, not fixing class, just tips and tricks of making your knitting easier, making things look better, the little tweaking things you do to make things, you know, work better and be more efficient, and those kinds of things. All the nuances. It's the nuances of knitting, and there's a lot of nuances in knitting. So that's what that class will be, and that is Wednesday, February 8th from 4 to 6. And that's it for that. And so I've figured out that this year is going to be, there's going to be a lot of cable focus, because we're going to do the cable blanket mid-year, and then we're going, and I have some projects that are coming up that are cable, so you can sort of dip your toe into the whole cabling world and see if it's something you like or don't like. And then, so we're gonna have cabling. So I'm gonna do just a little tutorial on what cabling is, and just a simple cable, just so you can sort of wrap your head around what it is that makes a cable, and what makes them turn one way and what makes them turn the other way. And so stay tuned for the tutorial. Okay, so cable tutorial. So cable is nothing more than changing the order of which you knit the stitches. So let's say you have 4 stitches. This is stitch 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you take these stitches, you put these stitches, take them off your needle and put them on a cable needle. And then you can hold them in the back or the front. So you hold them in the back. Then you're going to knit these 2 off your needle, left-hand needle. Then you're going to knit these 2 off the cable needle. So all you have done is switch the order of the stitches, and that creates a cable. It's as simple as that. That's all that happens. All right, so that's a basic simple cable. And a cable is like, this is a right leaning cable. They can also go left. They can go right and left. They can't really do anything else but go right and left. So this is a right leaning cable, because you can see this always goes to the right. This cable is the exact same cable. So the right leaning, you held it in back. So that means when you came to the cable crossing, this has like 1, 2, I think this might be having 4 stitches off. So you'd put 4 stitches on your cable needle, hold it in back, knit 4 stitches off your regular needle, and then knit the 4 stitches back off your cable needle. And that would have made the right hand crossing. A left hand crossing, you leave the stitches in the front of the needle. So right back, that's how I remember, right back is in the back and left is in the front. So that's basic. The other thing about cabling you'll notice is that it is always, almost always surrounded by purl stitches. So your purl stitches become the right side of the fabric, and that is to make the cables pop up. If it were stockinette and stockinette, it would all sort of blend. I mean, you'd still see them, but they would blend together a little more. This makes them pop up. So almost always you will have some kind of purl, even if it's only 1 stitch, you'll have 1 or 2 stitches or lots of stitches in a cable pattern that's the right side. So that's that one. And then this one is a different cable. This one has the 2 leaning ones. So this one goes to the right. So that means you held it in back and you knitted the whatever the number is on your needle. It looks like 4. And then you knitted the 4 off your cable needle. And this one was held to the front, and that made it left leaning. So you got right leaning and left leaning. That's all there is. There are no more other kind of leaning. Now, the complication of cables comes when they add a bunch of different cables, meaning how many stitches you're taking off, and if you're putting a purl stitch in the middle of the cable, that kind of stuff. But the basic cable is super easy. So this year, I know I'm going to be doing a lot of the cable blanket. So we're going to sort of focus on cables, which is just sort of what's happened here. And I'm going to have some projects that will get you introduced to cabling and see if you like it, something that you enjoy doing or not. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. So I'm going to just show you a basic cable. So every cable pattern will have instructions on what their abbreviations mean, because there's no standardization on how these are abbreviated. There's no standardization on when they're charted, how they're charted. So you have to look at the key. There's always a key that tells you what you're going to do. This one only has 1 cable. It's the same cable, just like the hat. It's the same cable all the time. So there's just this one. And so this says C6 back. So that's cable 6 back. So that means you're splitting. You usually, if it doesn't have, you're usually splitting that 6 into some kind of multiple. So in this case, it's 3 and 3. So we're going to slip 3 stitches under the cable needle and hold them back. Knit 3 stitches from the left-hand needle, then 3 stitches from the cable needle, and that's all there is to it. So I've got my little cable. This is a block that I'm working on right now. You can see that it has right leaning and left leaning, and it's a tighter cable because there's not as many rows between cable crossings, but you can still see that there is some purling in the midst of this that helps it pop out. So that's that. So here is the process. So there's different kinds of cable needles. There's these. There's ones that are perfectly straight and have sort of a couple ridges in there to hold the stitches on. There's the hooks, and it's a preference. And I suggest that you try all of them to see which one you like the best, because it definitely is a preference. And being comfortable with your cable needle is a big part of enjoying cables. If you're struggling with your cable needle, you're not going to enjoy this. So if you're struggling with one, try a different kind and see if it helps you some. So I'm going to take 3 stitches off. This is the one I just read to you. 3 stitches off, and I'm going to hold them in the back of my knitting. So I'm going to put them right there so they don't come off. And they're just hanging out in the back. I'm not going to hold on to it. They're just hanging out. They ain't going nowhere. So you can see they're not going anywhere. So then I'm going to knit 3 from here. And then I'm going to knit 3 from my cable needle. And I'm going to if you scoot these down so you're not afraid that they're falling off. And then I'm going to scoot these up, and I'm going to knit the 3 from my cable needle. and that's a cable. That's all there is to it. So that was a right-leaning cable. As you can see, it leans to the right. And now I'm going to do a left-leaning one. So I held it in back, so that makes it a right-leaning. Now I'm going to purl like 3 stitches. And now I'm going to do a left-leaning cable. So again, I'm going to take my 3 stitches off. 1, 2, 3. And this time they're going to lay in the front. So see, they're in the front. And then I'm going to knit my 3 off my needle. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to knit my 3 off my cable needle. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do one more because I'm going to show you how the hook one works. So I'm going to purl 3. 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to hold this one. I'll hold it in front. Okay, so if you use the hook one, which I tend to like this one, you're going to use the short side to pick your stitches off your needle. So 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to hold it in front. And it's out of my way. It's more out of my way than the other ones feels like. It's sort of just out of my way. So I sort of like it. Okay, now, the one thing you always have to remember, you almost always have just purled before you cabled. So you got to make sure you remember to put your yarn to the back to knit. So, because that's something that happens all the time. You forget to do that. So there's your 3 stitches off your needle. And now I'm going to move this to the long side of my hook. And I'm going to knit 3 stitches off my hook. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so now it's hard to see what's going on when you just cable. Usually you go a couple rows, but you can tell that this one leaned to the right, this one leans to the left, and this one leans to the left. Okay, and that's all there is to cabling. That is cabling. That's all there is. Simple Simon. So as I've got classes coming in, I've got a baby sweater that'll be coming up with a cable down the front. I think it's cabled down the sleeve, a simple cable, like a 3x3. It's always the same cable. And then we'll probably do a cowl or a hat, and I don't know what else I'll figure out. I'll find something else, something even smaller, maybe a cozy for a mug or something like that you can just try cabling on a cowl. So anyways, watch for the cable classes in the next few months, and if you're interested, come in and figure it out with me. And that's it for today. So I'll see you in the studio real soon. Bye.